and welcome to Teletalk. I'm Liv.
And I'm Ben.
And on this episode, you'll hear our carefully considered and not at all random thoughts on a show we like. There will be spoilers.
We're giving ourselves an age rating of 15 and above, but you're welcome to make up your own mind. Listener discretion is advised.
And if you're liking what you're hearing, please do rate, review, and subscribe. It really means a lot to us.
Yes, and if you want to contact us on our socials, we're at TeletalkPod on Blue Sky and Facebook, and you can email us at teletalkpod@outlook.com.
So this episode, we are reacting to Death in Paradise, Season 14, Episode 7.
Yeah, it's the penultimate episode of the season.
It is. Have you got an episode description for us?
I have, but before we get started, we have an announcement.
Oh.
Or an advisory, really. On British telly, next week is Children in Need, so there's no Death in Paradise next week, we skip a week.
Yes.
So, we're not going to have a Death in Paradise for you next week. We don't know whether we're going to fill it with something, or whether we'll just leave it a week.
Have a little break.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just have to check and find out.
We're already coming at you with Married at First Sight Australia at probably multiple episodes, so you know.
Yeah, just listen to those instead.
But I do have an episode description for this, episode 7 of season 14, and that is, Mervin and the team pull together to pin down the prime suspect in his mother's murder. But old wounds are reopened as Mervin is forced to confront his past.
Yes, but this is actually quite a moving episode, I think. It's quite sad at times.
This episode has a theme, and that theme is justice.
Yes. Well, let's have a look at our premise, shall we? So, this is unusual, another unusual aspect for Death in Paradise, because we start with a flashback. Only 6 months this time, though.
Yeah, true.
So we see the victim, Mervin's mum, on the morning of the day she died.
Hello, Mrs. Mervin.
We see her check the weather. We know that she does that anyway, because it's in her search history that we already know about from subplots.
She does conveniently go, there's a storm coming in.
Yeah. And then her friend comes to visit her.
Yes, and he is very obviously our Lurky Lurkerson that we've seen lurking in previous episodes.
Yeah, and he spends some time convincing her that it's a good day to spread her father's ashes. And there's no talk about doing this at sea. This is, as her wish, on the beach.
Well, it's left vague.
Yeah, it's left vague, but then we later find out it was on the beach.
Yes, which feels like quite a big thing to reveal this early in the podcast. You're being very generous.
Well, I did give a spoiler alert.
That's true. True.
I think I'm doing better than last week.
Yeah, that's true. At least you're intentionally doing it now. So yeah, the big news is, as we sort of spoiled in the last episode, this episode they're covering his mum's case. This is the main case. The subplot has become the main plot.
Yes, and the main reason why Mervin is suspicious in the first instance is because he doesn't understand why she went out to sea that day knowing there was a storm coming. Her family are fishermen by trade and they knew about weather.
So that's basically the fundamental mystery of the episode, really.
Yeah.
Who done it? Well, we know who done it.
We really do, because we only actually have one suspect this episode.
It's a real departure from the normal format in many ways, as I found out when I was taking my notes.
Shall we talk about our victim, Donna Bray?
Yeah, that's Mervin's mum.
Yeah.
What was Mervin's mum?
Oh.
Sorry. And she's been back on the island for a while to nurse her dad while he was unwell, and now he's passed away and she's remained in his house and has sort of taken up his friend.
Except that we learned that it was her friend first.
Sort of, yeah.
This is part of the deception of our suspect in the initial part of the episode.
You were just throwing information out there, aren't you?
Boom, boom, boom.
Hey guys, I heard you wanted info. Let me drop you info from way later in the episode. So yeah, turns out she did already know the fella that we haven't mentioned yet.
We have mentioned him.
Have we?
Yeah, in our premise.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Who is not paying attention? You.
It's not a point scoring thing. And it turns out, like you said, that the victim, the suspect, and Mervin's dad were all on the island together in April 1974.
Yeah, which Mervin says was 9 months before he was born, which means Mervin is 50.
Yeah.
What?
He is living well.
He does not look 50. And then, after I realised this, I kept looking at him and comparing him to other characters, and I was like, nope, he still doesn't look 50.
I was going to say, that makes him not that much younger than D.I. Mooney.
Who's D.I. Mooney?
Ardlo Hanlon.
Oh, yeah. From ages ago.
Yes. The oldest seeming of the detectives is.
You think he came across as the oldest?
Yeah.
Even though he had a teenage daughter.
Yeah.
Which might place him younger.
You see, it's all over the place. I'm starting to question the whole, like, hinting of a romance with Naomi, because she is definitely a lot younger than that.
Yeah. But I was surprised by this.
Yeah, I would have put him in his late 30s.
Yeah, so would I, without thinking about it. And then maybe, once I actually looked at him, maybe early 40s. But that will be where I drew the line.
To be fair, his actor is in his mid to late 50s.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my god! We need to know his secrets.
What we're learning here is we are terrible at judging age.
Well, okay, we only have this one example.
We do, but we are very wrong.
Yeah, very wrong.
But the main thing to know is that the victim fell in love with Mervin's dad at that time, and coincidentally, a very valuable ring went missing from the hotel that Mervin's dad and our suspect were staying at.
Dun, dun, dun.
That was beautifully timed and coincidental.
Yes. So let's leave our victim where she is and go to our suspect. And yeah, there is only one. It's Roy Palmer, her friend.
The most white man name ever, Roy Palmer.
No, I haven't really put too much thought into that. But do you know what? I am suspicious of him.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why? What gives you that impression? What have they done to give us any indication he might be sus?
Well, he is the only suspect. That's the main thing. But yeah, I think I could get this one in one.
Yeah, what I enjoyed is that when we get the initial interview between him and D.I. Wilson, we get a rare double lingering reaction shot. Because, yeah, when Mervin leaves after suspect has been weirdly smarmy, we get a lingering reaction shot as he leaves on the suspect looking angry. He sort of looks, yeah, and then his face turns to anger and possibly slight concern. And then we follow D.I. Wilson out, and it stops and lingers into him as he turns to look around and looks suspicious. It was a glorious double linger.
A double linger. Well, I didn't notice this, and I still managed to ascertain that our suspect was in fact our perpetrator.
If any of you are playing Teletalk Bingo, Liv doesn't notice something. That's one to chalk off.
Okay, so we have the means. Now, this is an interesting point.
They used the sea.
Yes, she drowned at sea. So how was it murder? Dun dun dun!
We also actually see her death.
Yes, we do.
And boy did they blow the budget on that. That was very dramatic for Death in Paradise stakes. I'm starting to wonder if that was why they were having to reuse plot points all this season. They'd spent all of their writing budget on that.
On the storm at sea.
The drama of it was, I must say, slightly undercut by your dad, who was watching it with us, who said, and I quote, "That's some serious acting with people rocking the boat in a swimming pool like that."
Yeah, I know. It did kind of ruin the moment. Thanks,
yeah, cheers.
Dad.
Yeah. He's not wrong.
I know. Because I was thinking in that moment, oh my God, what a horrific and terrifying way to go. And then he cuts in with that, and I'm like, all right, okay, back to reality.
I mean, come on, it's the BBC. They at least had a wave machine. But yeah, it's like, the big question really is, if she drowned at sea, how was it demurdering?
Yeah. And as we go through, we find out that the voice recording that was made on the phone received by the harbour master is genuine.
Yep.
And the pinpoint location of her phone at that time was also in the middle of the sea, so that's genuine. So then there becomes this real question over whether this is in fact a suspicious death or not.
You could put it as, drowned on a boat, and who's to blame?
Yes, you could, if
Yeah.
you wanted to drag that back into our episode
Kicking
here.
and screaming. You're welcome. Well, we've mentioned Roy Palmer a bit, so maybe we ought to wade in on him.
Yeah, I think he did it.
I think he did it too. It's one of those weird episodes where it's like, well, we know he did it. They're not being subtle about it. He's not being subtle about it. He's taunting D.I. Wilson at every opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's, you said it when we were watching, it was a bit more Columbo-esque.
Yeah.
Like, you know who did it, and you're just watching him stalk him down.
Watching Mervin, like, hound him.
Well, this is what I meant when I said that there was a theme, and the theme was justice. Because you spend the whole episode knowing exactly who did the murder and going, get him, Mervin, get him.
But also trying to figure out how it was done.
Yeah, it was on the sea with a boat by Mr. Palmer.
Let's find out a bit more about our suspect. He is in heavy debt.
Classic.
So this is our main motive. Money, money, money.
It's always money or sex.
Or?
Something else.
Yeah, what is it? Jealousy. Jealousy.
Of sex.
No.
Or money.
Oh my god.
What else is there? What else could there be?
I think there's 3 things. Money, jealousy, and sex.
Okay.
I think those are the 3. You know?
Yeah.
You don't
Let's
know.
go with that.
Okay.
So yeah, he was very much in the money and debt side of the trifecta.
Yes. We find out that he has been looking up the valuation of that stolen ring that Ben mentioned earlier.
Yeah, well, it turns out that the stolen ring was the one that the victim was wearing in all the photos that they saw of her.
But it wasn't on her body when she was recovered from the sea.
What?
Yeah.
That seems suspicious. They should probably look into that.
You find the ring, you find the murderer.
You say that like it's an established phrase or something.
Yeah, the thing is, though, go with this. You find the evidence, you find the perpetrator. That works every time.
I guess it's not the most pithy, is it?
No, but it's accurate.
Maybe.
Like, honestly, this is the formula in real life and in fictional drama.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I just feel that this isn't as profound as you think it is.
No, because I think this is good.
That's very clear.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Evidence is important.
It's key.
Yes.
You find the evidence, you'll find the perpetrator. Honestly, I'm telling you.
Put that on a t-shirt and sell it.
It's my thing. It's in my head.
It's your thing.
Yeah.
You've claimed that. You came up with it. It's your concept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe what I need to do now is go and do some police academy training. Just to spread the word.
Yeah.
Help them out a bit.
Like a criminologist consultant.
Yeah, sort of. Well, I'm not a criminologist, am I? So
I don't know how to deal with this. I'm so confused.
why are you confused? It's very simple.
I don't say it again. So yeah, the suspect was looking up the value of this stolen ring.
I said that.
Yes, I was getting us back on track. I'm trying so hard.
Go on then.
He was looking up the value of this ring.
I said that.
Oh, God. And it was the ring that was on the finger of the victim, but it's not there anymore, which I think we established.
I said that as well.
Yes. And he says that he wasn't looking it up for any nefarious reason. He was looking it up to persuade the victim that it was in fact the stolen ring so that he could persuade her to return it. And she said no, allegedly.
Yeah.
Did you say that already?
No.
So that was okay.
That was fine.
Okay, good.
Except it wasn't fine that he said it because it's a complete lie and it's there to partly hurt Mervin. And although Mervin is new, I have grown to quite like him.
Yes. I'd like him too.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah, he had a lot more humanizing in this episode.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, he was vulnerable. I'd written sad Mervin on my notes a couple of times. Sad Mervin be doing sad things.
Oh, but I liked him before this episode. Before the humanising.
I liked him before he was cool.
Yeah. I thought he was funny.
Funny?
Yeah.
Funny?
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
D.I. Wilson.
Yeah.
Like, as in made you laugh?
Yeah, internally. I don't often laugh externally with my face and whatnot.
This has gone off the rails.
Yeah, it's like break the rules day.
Yeah, normally you're the serious one trying to drag us back, and I'm the one going a bit off the rails. This feels very strange.
I know, and for me too.
So, what's next?
Wow.
I've lost track of where we are.
Opportunity, Ben.
Oh, yeah. The suspect was there at her house in the morning when she died.
But that was not the time at which she died. Because at the time at which she died,
well,
he had an alibi of 2 of his customers at his bar.
Yes, because they saw her sailing out to sea.
Yeah. Well, they saw her getting into the boat, didn't they? Climbing in. They called out to her not to go. She went anyway.
And then he rocked up to his bar going, "What up, lads?"
Yeah, ignore her. We'll just have a drink.
I'm pretty sure that's how he talks. "What up, lads?"
Yeah, well, it's definitely not. But anyway.
Are you done with my shit?
Yeah, like, what's up with you today?
It's a bit rich. Anyway, moving on from Hypocrisy Corner, I think we should recap the key evidence.
So, we have the stolen ring that
Yoink.
was on her finger. So, it's stolen, but then it's also now hers. Like, how long does this last? Because she's had this ring for 50 years.
Well, and also, it's now been stolen again, so it's a stolen ring.
Yeah, it's cursed.
Yes. Oh my god, is that the actual theme?
It's like
Cursed ring.
Dumbledore's wand, isn't it?
The elder one?
Yeah.
You tried. You tried so hard.
That is right. It's right.
I mean...
It's cursed wand. If you have it, someone's going to kill you.
I mean, we could get into a debate here and now and turn this into the Harry Potter podcast if you want, because, like, how does one define cursed? Also, defining the elder wand as Dumbledore's ring. Oh, jeez. This is how frustrated I am. I'm just chatting gibberish. Let's just go with sure. There's also the fact that the suspect is, unusually for a suspect, in debt.
Money, money, money.
Yes. The suspect visited the victim the morning she died.
There's not really evidence, is it?
He was there.
Yeah, but that's not the time she died.
No, but it's in the immediate vicinity thereof. It's as close as you get into evidence in this case, to be fair. The aforementioned customers who saw the victim sailing out just as she left.
Yeah.
And the suspect got to his bar.
Yeah.
I also had on there that the suspect is goading D.I. Wilson about not meeting his mum and just generally being a bell end.
Yeah, that was just really mean.
I know. It's almost like they were trying to make you dislike him for the eventual comeuppance.
Yes. Well, it worked.
And he also has a 5-year sober token. Not necessarily in and of itself evidence of anyone being a wrong-un, but it does come up later.
Yeah. At some point in all of this, it's not really key evidence, but I did want to mention Seb's donut hand.
I mean, that was a side plot in and of itself, right?
Because he's pretending to hold a donut so that he remembers that he's got a point. And again, back to Harry Potter, I thought this was similar to the Remember All from episode 1.
You got it.
I mean, film 1.
Episode 1. A New Hope.
Episode 1, that 3-hour film.
Revenge of the Muggles.
It's not really that, though, is it?
No. I'm mimicking Star Wars films' names. I had one additional piece of evidence that's actual evidence, not Seb's donut hand.
Oh, well, okay.
I had that we also see the suspect watching Dorna get onto her boat.
Yeah.
And he goes, "That's it, off you go."
Well,
As
if you're going to
menacing-
include that,
I am.
You also need to include when her body was recovered and he's seen walking away from the crime and he smiles to the camera.
Basically,
Like,
the entire evidence is we as viewers get to see him just being a Bond villain, basically, constantly.
Yeah.
Like, he might as well have been stroking a white cat and going, "No, Mr. Mervin, I expect you to die."
Yeah, I mean, I suppose he was pulling a lot of weight here because he was the only suspect.
Yeah, they had to really make it obvious that it was him, otherwise we'd have been going, so who are they going to pull out of their arse at the last minute to be them?
Well, shall we move on to solution? Because that does actually
Yeah, they
happen.
literally pull someone out of their... Well, not literally.
Metaphorically.
Notionally. Anyway, yes. Who did it, Liv?
It was the suspect.
And an accomplice.
Yes, he couldn't do it alone.
But we have met the accomplice before.
Yes.
Many a time.
Yes.
Oh. Who was it? What happened? Tell us. Tell us. Please.
He basically wanted her ring. So what he did was...
He stole the ring.
He waited for a storm. Then on the day of the storm, he went to her house and convinced her to scatter her dad's ashes.
Yep.
Then when she left with her dad's ashes and heading to the beach... Oh wait, he drugged her first. He went to her house.
Right, double back, yep.
He went to her house, he drugged her whilst convincing her to scatter her dad's ashes.
Yes.
Then he followed her because she was going to go to the beach.
Yes.
But then she passed out.
So she had to pull over like any sensible driver would do.
Yeah. And then he nicked her.
Not in the police sense.
He kidnapped
He
her.
abducted her.
Oh, abducted, yeah. He abducted her, then he shoved her on a boat.
Yep.
Took her ring. Did I mention that bit?
Yep.
And then he took her out to sea.
Wait. There was a bit before that. The accomplice, who is her neighbour, who we've seen a few times, she took her clothes.
Fine. The neighbour took her clothes.
And impersonated her.
She had underclothes, so she wasn't naked.
Okay.
It was really just her kind of shawl-y thing. Like,
Yeah.
I really liked her sense of style, but basically she was dressed. And then she also had this long kimono shawl type thing.
This really tells you a lot about Liv.
So then her neighbour took that. Our suspect, can't even remember his name, he took her to the boat, took her out to sea, moored his boat there, then went to go and open up his bar.
Yep.
And then the neighbour, dressed as the victim, goes to her deceased dad's boat.
Yep.
And ignores them
Makes
and
a
their
big show of
warnings.
leaving.
Yeah, with the urn of her dad's ashes. Well, except it's not her dad's ashes.
You are doing such a good job of this. Carry on.
She goes out to sea in the boat that was
The victim's
her
boat.
dad's boat.
It's now her boat.
Yeah. And then she goes and moors up next to the other boat that the victim's on, drags her onto her dad's boat,
Yep.
puts her clothes back on her,
And now that's important.
and sails away,
Leaving her to die.
leaving her to die in the oncoming storm.
But there's a hitch.
A glitch?
A hitch.
A glitch.
In the plan.
There's a glitch in the plan. Don't you think?
No. You know how a plan goes off without a hitch?
Right.
This one didn't. It went off with a hitch, which was her coming to.
But can't a plan go off without a glitch too?
It's not a saying.
I think it is.
It's not a saying.
Go on then.
Well, she woke up and they'd left her with her phone. And so she rang the harbour master to go, please help me, I don't know where I am. Thus explaining the mysterious, incredibly clear signalled call, which they keep telling us had terrible signal, but it seemed to have great signal right up until it hung up. So that's weird.
Thing is, in that time, she could have shared incriminating evidence, but she didn't. So it was a bit pointless.
So she deserved to die.
Yeah. No.
I thought you were going to immediately get upset with me. You're just like, yeah.
That was cruel trickery.
By just saying a thing. It's almost like you don't listen to what I say. So, yeah, they both did it, and the team find the ring in her house because they've been scouring his house and every other place they could possibly think of to find the ring, and it was not there. And it turns out it's next door all the time.
To be fair, they weren't scouring everywhere else. Mervin just was like, nah, it won't be at the harbour. Nah, it won't be at his bar. Nah. Until they got to the point where it was like that chip. Like, oh, well, maybe he knew someone from the AA meeting.
I thought they were going to ransack the church to find it.
Me too.
It was on the crucifix's finger or something,
Yeah.
although I feel like that might be pushing a little dangerously close to blasphemy at that point.
Now, one thing we didn't mention is that they nearly weren't allowed to solve this murder.
Flash Gitterson is back.
Yeah, Sterling Fox waltzes in and tells Mervin to stop the case in, like, what, minute 5 of this episode?
He absolutely waltzes. That's the best verb. He waltzes in. Sashays in.
Yeah. And so he shuts down the case, and then we get Selwyn's redemption.
Break glass in case of Selwyn emergency.
Yeah, Catherine goes and talks to him and convinces him to help.
And we get a dramatic montage of him getting dressed in his uniform like a Terminator.
Yeah, and we see him pull into the police station car park very respectfully and carefully. And then he arrests Sterling Fox.
Justice!
Yeah,
Justice!
Nice one, Selwyn.
And then he has a great time really slowly getting to collecting evidence to buy them time.
Yeah.
Joyfully going, well, I think it's time for a nice cup of coffee. And maybe a biscuit.
Yeah.
It was just so much joy.
Nicely done.
Oh, they brought the joy back in this episode. And
Yes.
That's what I loved. There was so much joy and justice. Sweet, tasty justice.
Well, this works because Selwyn's been on gardener's leave and he's got 2 days left of his official post. So he has the right to arrest people, I guess.
Yeah, in classic San Marie style, he's been taking his gardening leave by just drinking spirits.
Yeah. And coffee.
And raising my spirits. Oh, it was so satisfying.
So, yeah, and then, at the end, Sterling Fox gets his comeuppance. Well, a little bit.
Well, he got arrested.
Well, yeah, he did get arrested. But then he gets released by the end of the episode and he gets to watch the ceremonial arrest.
Yeah, where it gets all laid out and then D.I. Wilson gets to personally put the cuffs on and arrest the suspect. I enjoyed it.
He also then sort of twists Mr. Fox's arm into getting Selwyn's job back.
Well, yeah, it's left vague.
It's left vague, but then we see the next time and it's like, I got my job back.
No, he says, I've been offered my job
That's
back.
the same
that
sort of
leaves
thing.
it open. I think they might still throw us that late curveball.
Nah.
You reckon he's staying?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see who wins.
See we shall. So, yeah, it all comes around. I was surprised, to be honest with you. I was not expecting this to solve this case in this episode.
I know, I definitely thought it was going to be a two-parter.
We didn't really see anything about the case, did we, for the next episode? In the coming next?
Can't remember. But what I do like is that you're right, they have brought the fun back. So whatever happens next episode, hopefully, we get more fun.
I had a great time.
What would you rate it?
I would give this a well-deserved 7 moments of justice out of 7.
Wow.
This was the perfect episode. They might as well end it here. Dunzo. Happy days.
That is high praise.
I loved the hell out of this episode.
Nice.
If I wasn't already married, I would marry this episode.
Rude. I've rated it 9 out of 10.
Outrageous.
What do you mean outrageous?
What could you have possibly marked it down 1 for?
Well, we only had one suspect, and then we had a surprise villain.
Yeah.
So we had 2 perpetrators and only 1 suspect.
Yeah, but hear me out, right? I acknowledge that this might be hypocritical, but that was a fun surprise.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed this episode.
Me too.
And it brought much justice.
Okay, yeah, but 9 out of 10 is a good score.
No, that's unfair. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
I think we're going to have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, you think a lot of things that are wrong.
I have been very correct this episode. I guessed who'd done it right from the beginning.
Oh, well, you'd have thought you'd have been 10 out of 10 smugness then.
No,
Are you suggesting it was too easy?
it's just a feeling that I have. When I got to the end and I was like, yeah, that was good. What am I going to rate it? It's going to be a 9.
I got this feeling inside my bone.
Okay, too much singing now. On that note,
That's all, folks.
if you have the time, we would really appreciate it if you could rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. Bye!
Toodles!